Hello, friends. Hello. It's been a while since I've done this in an evening setup. I kind of look scary tonight. I don't know why my eyes look scary. Maybe because I put on kajal a few hours ago and now it's all smudged. It's fine. It's 8 p.m. I'm not going to put it on again. Okay, dokie, hello. As you can tell from the title, we are getting channel letters from your future spouse today. This is a reading that I've had in mind for a while. And today is the perfect day for it because I also posted a future spouse reading on Instagram. And I thought it was a cool synchronicity because I wasn't planning to do that at all. Yes, I'm excited. I've already channeled the letters. And for the pick a pile process, the pile selection, I will have you choose from 3 different letter sets. Well, one of them is a postcard, but same thing. So yeah, should we just start? I guess we should just start. Okay, pile selection. Group number 1 is this letter. As I said, I've already channeled the letter, so I'm just going to show you the envelope. Now, as always, you pick the one that you feel drawn to the most. This is group 1. It's so pretty at the back. Group number 2 is a postcard. The message is at the back of this postcard. I've also added stickers. I'm so excited. This is group number 2. And group number 3 is, oh god, did I show you the letter? I'm sorry. I hope no one pauses and reads it. Anyway, the handwriting is not the best. It's fine. Group number 3 is this letter set. It's blue, it has a Tweety bird on it. I have no idea if that's the bird, but it looks like a Tweety bird or a blue bird. This is the back. I would have loved to show you the letter pad, the the note itself, but then you'll see the letter. Maybe I should have waited. Oh wait, I've already put on stickers, so I could show it to you. Okay, let's redo the pile selection. Group number 1 is this letter and this envelope. Group number 2 is the postcard. Nothing changes here. I wish I had an envelope for this one. Group number 3 is this letter. And from the back. Okay. I'm going to show you the 3 groups all at once because I won't be able to add a video here. This is group number 1, group number 2, group number 3. You can pause the video here if you want to. Take all the time that you need, and I'll see you in your readings. This felt so rushed. Should I re-record it, Spirit? I feel rushed. Maybe you're in a rush. Maybe your future spouse is in a rush. I don't know. But it feels rushed. It feels an exciting kind of rush. Like, yes, finally, let's meet each other. Let's be together. Even the letters today were so sweet. So sweet. I was smiling the whole time that I was channeling. But yeah, other than the letter itself, we are going to ask a couple of questions about your future spouse, including who are they, where are they, and finally some guidance for you. Yeah. You know what's crazy is that on a different day, I would have received this particular part of the reading, the the pile selection process and how I decided to show you the letters towards the end and how I'm talking about the reading after the pile selection, I would have seen this as a mess. I would have perceived this as a big failure and I would have wanted to re-record it. But right now, all of it feels perfectly aligned. Like that's exactly how it was supposed to be. And I love that. I love that. Let's start. Okie dokie. Group 1. You fell drawn to this envelope. And at the back, this letter with the sticker. I am going to read it aloud to you now. And afterwards, we're going to ask a couple of questions like who is your future spouse? Where are they right now? Oh god. I'm going to. I want to be careful with this. I had a feeling this would happen. And still, I decided to use stickers anyway. Yay, yay, yay. Almost done, almost done, almost done. Yes, perfect. Yeah. Afterwards, we're going to ask questions like who is your future spouse, where are they, and some guidance for you to end the reading. Okay. Should I do that? I sort of want to do a giveaway as part of this reading. Like, I don't want to keep these letters. I would love to send it to one of you. And to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is write down, comment, comment which group you fell towards, and what kind of a person you would like to be with, what kind of a relationship you would like to be in. Just a little, it does not have to be overly personal, whatever you are comfortable with. I just want to help all of you manifest the person that you'd like to marry. Yeah, and I think that would be a really nice way to make it happen, just to send out that intention into the world through the comment section. Yeah. And then I would randomly pick 3 people for each group. And if it works out right, I will send the letter that you received as part of your reading to you, if you're chosen. Yeah. Yes, let's do it. Okay. Dialed in group 1. You can insert your name there. I wrote group 1. You are so beautiful. You know that, right? I hope you do. Because when we meet and get together, I don't want your insecurities, or my own for that matter, to get in the way of our relationship. I want to love you and I want to be loved. I hope we can both allow that to happen. I'm currently dealing with some issues on the job front, but you don't have to let me hold you back. You go ahead and do the best you can. Live your best life with or without me. Though it does make me a little sad. They added a little sad emoticon. I want you to grow as much as beautifully you can. And if I am going to get in the way of that, then I will quietly remove myself or the possibility of us getting together out of the picture. For now, go and thrive. I love you, I'm watching you, and you look powerful. I love that. Love your future spouse. Ah! Oh God. I'm surprised that I did not cry while channeling any one of these letters today. Anyway, so I want to bring your attention to that. Oh God, I put the sticker again, even though I knew. I knew it would give me trouble. Right, so this particular message, I'm currently dealing with some issues on the job front. There was also this sense that it does not have to be their career exactly that they're struggling with right now. It could also be other aspects of their material world, like the living situation, or family problems, or financial problems, different things like that. but some part of their material world, it's just not in the best shape right now, and the distance that you are experiencing in your future spouse journey at the moment, I'm feeling something right now. I'll talk about it in a bit. I went to get the sodalite crystal, which is, it helps your throat chakra, and I'm starting to feel a little nervousness, like your future spouse is nervous to share this with you. They don't want you to know, they don't want you to realize that they're not perfect, because they see you as perfect and they want to be perceived in the same manner. Oh, yeah. But some part of their material world, it's not in the best shape right now, and the distance that you're experiencing in this journey is a result of that. It's them choosing to protect you from the problems in their world. So even if you don't know who this is, even if this is someone, like you have no one in mind, you have no idea who this could be, if you've never met this person, even then, this energy of them seeing you as perfect, seeing you as beautiful, it's their future self, their higher self, letting you know that that is how they will see you, and they want to catch up with you before they see you, before they meet you in 3D. Yeah. Um, 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 um. You go ahead and do the best you can. Live your best life with or without me. I want you to grow as much as beautifully as you can. And I'm not going to get in the way of that. That's not what they wrote, but that's what I just heard. For now, go and thrive. I love this so much. If there is something you've been feeling called to do, but you're scared that it might interfere with your future spouse journey, for instance, if you want to travel, if you want to move to a different city, different country, but you're scared that you're supposed to meet your future spouse in the city that you're in right now, or in the country that you're in right now, and you're scared that you moving around too much would mess up or slow down your future spouse journey, this is your future spouse saying, please just go and live your best life. Choose your happiness. Do whatever feels good, do whatever feels right. Choose yourself. That's probably what's going to inspire them to do the same. Your energetic expansion, your ascension has been inspiring them to grow as well. Again, that message about them wanting to catch up with you before they see you. So the more you grow, the more they want to grow themselves, the more they want to work even harder to be equal to you. Whew, this person is going to be a little tongue-tied when they meet you, when they talk to you. Again, because they see you as perfect. And the very fact, the very first message was, you are so beautiful. So just by looking at you, a part of them just unravels and it starts to melt, and it's like, how do I even breathe? How do I talk to this person? They're so beautiful. How do I even look them in the eye? They make me so nervous. So many butterflies here, and this at the same time, the fact that I'm smiling so much, and the fact that I keep going. It's like it's both things. They want to talk to you. They want to tell you everything. They want to ask you questions. They want you to tell them everything. And at the same time, they're just like, oh God, this person is so gorgeous. They're such an angel. They're so kind. They're so perfect. How do I even match that? Am I even worthy of that? Am I deserving of that? Yeah. Maybe that's why that message about, I don't want your insecurities, or my own for that matter, to get in the way of our relationship. If your future spouse journey has been moving slowly, if there has been distance, especially if you know who this person is and you can tell that they're taking a lot of time and it's frustrating you a lot, then this is the reason. If this person were to come into your world right now, things could get messy, because they are not who they want to be when they come into union with you. They are not the person they would like to be when they come into union with you. For now, go and thrive. I love you. I'm watching you. You look powerful. So even if you don't know who this person is, their higher self is constantly around you. They're watching you. They're guiding you. And every time you feel a burst of inspiration, a sense of cheer, if you randomly start to feel Okay, I don't know how to explain this. Let's say you're having a bad day, and then all of a sudden you feel this inspired, motivated energy, and you're just like ready to start taking action, regardless of what you're taking action towards. Even if you're just trying out a new recipe or finishing that last task on your to do list for the day, that motivation could actually be your future spouse's higher self, sending a lot of energy away. And if you know who this person is, I'm watching you, you look powerful. I wonder if they're stalking you right now. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're somehow keeping tabs, but not in a creepy way, just in a, like, I'm watching you in awe way. I'm watching you from a distance because that's all I can afford right now. In the sense that if I come closer, I'm seeing somebody coming closer to the sun and them just melting away. So if you just was saying, if I come any closer to you, I might just lose all the progress that I've made. But again, not in a bad way. In a more like, if I become a part of your world right now, I will be so obsessed with you that I won't be able to focus on myself or my life because I think you're amazing. And I just want to talk to you and stare at you. Oh god, this is such a lover boy slash girl energy. Yeah, I will lose myself in you if I come too close right now. That's why I need to ground myself and find an inner stability that won't shake when the two of us meet. Okie dokie, that ends the channeled letter section. Remember the giveaway. You just have to mention your group and what kind of a partner or relationship you would like to be in. Yeah, your dream partner or your dream relationship. I hope it's full of love. And I hope your answers are inspired by the letters themselves. Yeah. Now let's move on to the cards. We are going to ask, who is your future spouse? Maybe that will help you recognize whether or not you know this person yet. Or it could be some sort of a sign to look out for in the future. Yeah. Who is Group 1's future spouse? You have Wildflower with Freedom. What was the second question? How far away are they? How far away is Group 1's future spouse? Ooh, 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 ooh. You have taking care of myself is a radical act of love. And you have, my friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. Nice. I dropped a whole deck of cards. I wonder if that's significant. This is supposed to be your guidance. Something about dropping the act I'm hearing. What's that about, Spirit? Guidance for group number 1. Guidance for their yeah, burning bowl ritual. So just now when I said dropping the act, I felt some past energy, in the sense that you're supposed to let go of the past in some capacity. Okay, now for some tarot, tell me more about Wildflower or Freedom. Who is Group 1's future spouse? You have the Four of Swords. Tell me more about taking care of myself is a radical act of love. My friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. Where is your future spouse? You have the Tower. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. It almost feels like your future spouse has lost an inner spark because of something that has taken place in their life recently. So with the Four of Swords here, in this image of a sick woman. She's actually hospitalized. It could be talking about certain health issues that they've had to deal with, or just overall challenges in life. Because you have this card that talks about friendships, it could be an ending that took place in their relationships, their close relationships. I just heard the word reliable, something or someone that they thought was reliable. It fell apart, it shattered. Yeah, and the very fact that this woman is hospitalized, so it could also have to do with their physical spaces. Something that they thought would last for a long time, would be in their life for a long time, would provide them with the stability that they want, that they need. It's gone now. With Wildflower here, this person is, I'm hearing the word spirited, like they're a spirited person. They follow their heart, very adventurous. They're not afraid to listen to their heart and follow their intuitive callings, even if they don't actually identify as very spiritual, or they don't even use these terms, like heart center and intuition and psychic abilities or things like that. They're always tapped into their highest self, their intuition, their inner compass. They're always connected with their inner child. I'm literally seeing a child running around, carefree. That's who this person is. But now that either multiple or one particular area of their life is sort of falling apart, they're struggling quite a bit. Yeah, and this both of your affirmation cards, they do make me feel like they have a lot of support around them. So even if the ending that took place in their life was related to their relationships, they still have other people in their world that are supporting them, taking care of them, reminding them to have faith, to keep going, trying to remind them of their true essence. There is support in their world, but they also know that this is an ending that they're supposed to deal with on their own. This is so beautiful. It's like this person, I'm going back to your letter, and I'm thinking about how they said that they want to be able to reach that place of stability within themselves before they can run into you, before they can see you. This person does have a lot of inner stability. They have a lot of emotional maturity, mental maturity. They're not hyper independent, but they can provide for themselves, and they can also reach out for support when they need support. It's a perfect balance between the two. And they recognize that there is more growth, more potential for growth for them here in this particular chapter. They see, the word I keep hearing for you is loopholes. They see their own patterns, they see their own ego, they see their own shadow. And it takes a whole lot of maturity, a whole lot of self-awareness to be able to look at all the different aspects of yourself. So I want to say they've done the work. Again, whether or not they even acknowledge the term or understand the term shadow work, it kind of feels like they have done a lot of shadow work over the years. They have done a lot of mental and emotional work with intention, even if they don't recognize the psychological or spiritual terms associated with that work. And that's why they're able to sit in that place of truth, of awareness. This is what I need. This is what I need to do next. And unless I make that happen, I won't be able to create space for a relationship, for a romantic relationship in my world. And it's not a tough love energy, it's a matter of fact energy, you know? Yeah, this is what I need to do next. That's it. Whew, oh god, I love this energy. It's very it's this person is such a reliable person themselves. They are so supportive, they're so sturdy, their energy feels so safe and protective. Like you can rely on me, you can depend on me whenever you need. That's who I am. And maybe that's why when this particular ending took place with the Tower here, whether it was in a relationship or their living situation or their workspace or something, when this ending took place, it hurt their ego, it shattered their ego in some capacity, because their understanding was, I have been so supportive and reliable. I have done so much for people. I have worked so hard. I have done the work. Then why would life betray me like this? Yeah. But they have support. They have a lot of love in their world. Even if the numbers are small, even if it's just two people that they talk to every day, it's still a whole lot of love and support. Yeah. And they're going to be fine. With the Four of Swords here, they want you to know that they're going to be fine. They are going to, I'm hearing they're going to get their shit together. They're going to make it happen. And they just need you to be a little patient with them, you know? Yeah. Now for your guidance, one last card, Burning Bowl Ritual. Something from the past that needs to be let go. You have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. And going back to that phrase again, drop the act. You have the Lovers at the back of the deck. Oh my god! Drop the act. What's that about, Spirit? With the Queen of Swords here, because I did a personal reading a few hours earlier, and the Queen of Swords showed up, and in that spread it came across as a very hyper independent energy. So what I'm hearing now is, drop the act that you have it all together. Take it however it resonates. This could very well be talking about something from the past that is no longer working for you, like something as part of your daily routine, a habit, a narrative, a thought pattern, anything at all. With the Page of Pentacles here, it could even be activities that you spend a lot of time on a daily basis. I'm thinking of scrolling, doom scrolling, but even like certain hobbies. Yeah. Just take an eagle eyes view over your life right now, of your life right now. See what's working for you and see what's not. What is feeding you energy and what's draining your energy. And get rid of the latter to simplify it a lot. There are some things in your world that are not working. At the same time, how should I say this? It's like you're trying to do something, new, but it's not working out very well, or you're struggling with it a lot. And this is your higher self saying it's absolutely okay to acknowledge that you're struggling. It's absolutely okay to acknowledge your flaws, your mistakes, or just the fact that you're not perfect. So again, there's some amount of mirroring between you and your future spouse. They see, interesting, they see you as perfect. And with the Queen of Swords here, I feel the energy of a mirage. Like the reason your future spouse is going to see you as perfect is because that's the air you put on. And if you allowed yourself to be a little vulnerable with them, open with them, and just let them know that you, just like other humans, are not perfect and your life is not perfect, it would help your future spouse ease up a lot, you know? Yeah. One more card, please, Spirit. One more card for the Queen of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. You have the Two of Pentacles. So it's again that energy of trying something new, but struggling with it. You have Three of Cups at the back of the deck. It's almost like, so with the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, the energy of juggling is coming through. And with the Three of Cups at the back of the deck, I wonder if it has to do with your work-life balance. Maybe that's where you need to change. You need to be more balanced in your daily life. Prioritize your relationships a bit more, or vice versa. If you haven't been able to create a routine, and if you've been using people as a way as a distraction or something of that sort. There's a lack of balance here, or there's a lot of juggling here, and yeah, as soon as you acknowledge it aloud to yourself, that I'm struggling to own a little way, in a small way, and I myself can change here, something will begin to shift in your future spouse's energy as well. This is a very tricky energy. I'm having a hard time putting it into words, so take this however it resonates. The key way of figuring it out is, again, to see what's working for you and what is not. Acknowledging what is not working for you and working on changing that slowly, steadily. Yeah. I did want to show you something. The tower is a number 16 card. It does not say that here, but it is a number 16 card. And at the back of the deck, you have another number 16 card. It says make an altar. So 16, 16, and you had the lovers earlier, which is a number 6 card. So that angel number could be significant. With the numbers 4 and 7, April and July could be important months, even the time frame between the two. And with the Two of Pentacles here, the next 2 months could be significant. Anything else, Spirit? No, that's it. That's it. Wildflowers, or flowers in general, could be a sign for somebody here. There's a lot of blue in your cards. How did I miss that? There's a lot of blue in your cards. And the fact that I felt called to get the sodalite crystal for you, so throat chakra energy. Throat chakra healing for you, and third eye chakra healing for your person. It could even be the other way around, but working with your throat chakra and third eye chakra could be significant. It could be helpful. I'm hearing scratch that. Scratch that last message. In the sense that it's not chakra healing that you need right now. It's using those chakras to again arrive at that that guidance that we channeled for you. With the third eye chakra, it's the ability to see what is working for you, what is aligned for you, and what is not. And with the throat chakra, it's the ability to acknowledge it to yourself that something's not working, something needs to change. That's what needs to happen. You don't really need to focus on chakra healing unless that's what you feel called to do. I brought the color, what is this called? This shade card. It came with the flower medicine deck, and the color blue here represents trust, loyalty, and honesty. Maybe that's significant somehow. Okay, Spirit. I believe that's it. Group 1. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next one. Oh, and remember the giveaway. Okie dokie, Group 2. You fell drawn to the postcard. Ooh, I'm looking at the little kid here on the postcard, and I believe, well, he has a pen in his hand, but I guess you can see it as him painting on this cardboard thingy. So I wonder if inner child expression is significant for this group. Okay, I will read aloud the channeled letter, and then we will ask questions about your future spouse, including who are they, where are they, and we'll get some guidance for you towards the end. Is there anything else? Alright, okay. I want to do a little giveaway with this reading. I don't want to keep these letters to myself. I would rather send these to you. Well, 3 of you, one for each group. So to participate in the giveaway, if you want to, you just mention the group that you felt drawn to, and you share your dream partner or relationship or both. Basically, if nothing else, even if you don't get chosen, I will randomly choose a person. I still want this comment section to be a sort of exercise in manifestation, so that you can just let the universe know this is what I want for myself, this is who I'm attracting, this is the relationship that I know I deserve, that I want to be in. Yeah. And of course, maybe you'll get the letter. Okay, let's start. Dearest Group 2, feel free to insert your name there. You have the most dreamy eyes slash vibes, and I can easily get lost in them. I can easily get lost in your energy, your smile, the curves of your spine, the curve of your spine. You are the dreamer, the lover, the artist, the poet I've always aspired to be. I know you think I don't like you, and maybe that's my fault. I act too cold and distant sometimes, immature and possessive, or jealous at others. But the truth is, I like you too much. Your smile makes me so happy and can easily turn the worst of my days around. Your voice gives me 1,000 butterflies. Your arms can make my heart race. You bring out the dreamer in me, the lover, the artist, the poet, and for that I am eternally grateful. No one has helped me meet myself the way you have, my love, and I'm grateful for that. I love you for that. XOXO, a lover. Oh god, this letter, oh my god. This is one of the most lovey-dovey letters I have ever channeled. Like I need to breathe. I feel a little there is that this very sensual and sexual energy in this letter. Even while I was channeling it kind of felt like your future spouse is so easily turned on by you. And the fact that they have these very specific, they mention these very specific traits, the curve of your spine, and your arms can make my heart race. And of course, there are compliments about your smile, your eyes, your voice, and things, different things. They love your body. They love a lot of things about you, but they also love your body so much. They're so easily turned on by you. And even that statement, I can easily get lost in them. And even as I was reading the initial part of the letter, I had completely forgotten that I was sitting in front of a camera. I had completely forgotten. I was just fixated on the letter itself. It's almost like when you're in front of them, they don't see anything else. They can't think of anything else. It's just you. That's it. It's just you. Oh god, I love this energy. I am manifesting this for all of you. Let me catch my breath. Okay. No one has helped me meet myself the way you have. I know you think I don't like you. Now, this is interesting because these elements, these very specific elements in the letter, made me think that this person already knows you or you already know them. But that does not have to be the case for all of you. It's possible that this is your future spouse's future self coming through. Like, this is the reaction they will have when the two of you meet. Yeah. This is how they will see you, this is how they will perceive you. And I love this sentence, no one has helped me meet myself the way you have. It's like you add so much depth to their life. And even the parts, you bring out the dreamer in me, the lover, the artist, the poet. And for that, I am eternally grateful. It's like you are their muse. They are the poet and you are the muse. They are the artist and you are the muse. You inspire them, you excite them, you make them want to notice the little things in life. You make them want to notice your eyes, the shade of your lipstick, your arms, your fingers. Yeah. You make them want to be present and grounded so that they can completely lose themselves in you. I am connecting with a song right now. Again, it's a very sensual, sexual song. It's Laboko. I do not know the singer. I am bad at names, but I believe the Indian audience will know which song this is. Laboko from Bhul Bhulaiya. I'm not singing that. I don't think I know the lyrics. Do I know the lyrics? Mm, लबों को लबों से मिलाओ क्या हो तुम मुझे अब बताओ I love the next part, but I'm not sure about the lyrics. I'm going to sing the wrong lyrics because I love the next part. खो भी दो खुद को तुम बाहों में मेरी बाहों में मेरी बाहों में मेरी बाहों में I probably went a little off tune. Can you see my face? I'm red right now. This is not what I always look like. Oh god. I probably went a little off tune there, but it doesn't matter. I love this song so much. Okay. That was your letter, group 2. I am all flustered. I am all flushed. Thanks to you. Okay, let's move on to the cards. Who is your future spouse? Who is group 2's future spouse? You have Azalea with passion. Oh my god! There's so much, such sexual energy here. I'm just going to shuffle the cards, ignoring the sound in the background, the car alarm. It has been happening. It keeps being triggered since yesterday, and it started at 5 in the morning today. It's very annoying. Where is group 2's future spouse? Oh, you have attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. Lastly, your guidance. For a second, it felt like someone was crying. I believe it's your future spouse, but it's not because of you. It's not because of this reading. It's because of something else going on in their life. It could be related to their affirmation card. Yeah. For your guidance, you have energy work with the number 22. And we'll get some tarot. Some tarot cards. Tarot. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more about Azalea, who is Group 1's future spouse. Interesting. This came out for Group 1 as well. You have the Four of Swords. There's another card peeking at us, but I believe it's for the question, where is your future spouse? I keep saying, where are your future spouse? You have the King of Cups. Oh my god. Interesting. And one more for energy work. You have the Six of Cups. Okay, I have a few things to say here. You have the Moon at the back of the deck. With Azalea, Passion, and the Four of Swords. This feels like a very drained energy. Maybe they're quite a busy person. Okay, when it comes to the keyword passion, for some reason I'm thinking of their sex drive or just their energetic body. It's like they're in a period of lull right now, or a low period of depression. Maybe they're not well, physically unwell, or something, or passion. The energy of passion itself is being drained out of their life. I'm not sure why though. Mm. With the Four of Swords here, maybe they're not resting enough. Yeah. This person feels quite busy, or their routine is quite monotonous. There's not a lot of excitement here. There's not a lot of creativity here. There's not a lot of change here. It's a lot of monotony, and I think they don't rest enough. Mm. It's also possible. I'm thinking of skydiving right now. So it's also possible that the routine that they have, like they are an energetic person, but the routine that they have, by the end of the day, they tend to feel quite exhausted. So let's say they are indeed a skydiving um, trainer. Is that the right word? Or the person who jumps with with the the other people who want to skydive, whatever that is, the companion, the skydiving companion. So maybe their work itself is exhausting. So they are quite an adventurous, passionate, creative person. It's just after a long day of work, or just even if it's not a long day of work, after jumping out of that plane 3 or 4 times with 3 or different people, they're tired. Yeah, yeah, that's what it feels like. Because the Four of Swords is a more quick moving energy. Like I keep thinking of the weekend. Yeah, so it's not like they are in an exhausting chapter of life. It's probably just their daily routine that's tiring. Yeah. Otherwise, they're a very driven person. They're a highly motivated person. They get a lot of work done on a daily basis. Yeah. Or maybe they're not sleeping enough. Or maybe they're sick. Something of that sort. They're sick, tired, not sleeping enough, very busy, or just exhausted. It's nothing bad. Oh, we got these cards after asking the question, who is your future spouse? So this is probably what they're like all the time. So when you meet them, that's one of the first things you'll notice about them. Oh God, this person is low on energy, or they don't sleep enough, or they're tired all the time, or the work that they do is quite draining. So I'm thinking of ambulances right now. I'm thinking of people who work in emergency services, if that's the right term for it, or even a doctor, a psychologist, something of that sort. Yeah, something about their daily routine, more specifically in terms of their work, the work that they do, it tires them out. Yeah. Oh, this is such a sweet image though. So when the two of you get together, you might find yourself taking care of this person, feeding them, tucking them in bed, something of that sort. Yeah. Or it's even possible that they have a very low social battery. Something about it's almost like you can see their battery dying out throughout the day. Or this happens with me a lot. Like if I spend more than 3 hours with somebody, they can see on my face that I'm starting to get exhausted. I have a very tiny social battery. So it's like you get to observe this person from day to night, and you can see it in front of you how they tire themselves out. Yeah. But it's not like there's no toxicity here, it's not like this person is overdoing anything. It's not like they're forcing themselves to work a lot, to do a lot. This is just their life. Yeah. And I think you're going to enjoy taking care of this person. Oh, and the fact that this person is looking up at their lover, their partner, it makes me feel like they might even feel guilty that they don't have energy for you at the end of the day, especially since you have the word passion here. So maybe there are times when you would like some intimate you would like to experience some intimacy with them, physical intimacy, but they just don't have the energy. Yeah. You will comfort them. You'll put them to sleep. Put them in bed. To bed. Oh God. I don't know how to word this. But you get what I mean, right? Yeah, you're going to love taking care of this person. I think you're going to see them. I'm seeing a teddy bear right now. You're going to see them. You will be their teddy bear, is what I'm hearing. You're going to see them as a little kid who needs a lot of attention, care, time, energy. But not, again, not in a toxic way. It's not like this person is a baby that needs to be raised or anything. It's just you care for them. You want to take care of them. Yeah, you can see how hard they work, and you love being the support, um, the pillar upon which they can rest and rely. Yeah, okay, that feels really nice. Right, so you have attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. And the King of Cups, something about their relationship, something about their heart, like the people in their world are, they're not sensitive enough, they're not caring enough, they're not gentle enough with this person, they're not as soft as this person is. Yeah, I really do feel like this person works in very sensitive spaces, like risky spaces, like mental health practitioners, for instance, or I keep thinking of doctors. Yeah, this person themselves, they're so tapped into their heart center, their emotional body. They're very sensitive, they're very intuitive, they pick up on other people's needs pretty quickly, and they're so open as well. They're so compassionate, and empathy comes really easily to them. This is a healer without even realizing that they're a healer, you know. Yeah, and it's really hard for them to find those qualities in their external surroundings. It's really hard for them to find people who mirror those qualities back at them. Yeah, yeah. And the King of Cups, it also makes me feel like you will be that person for them. You will see their strength. You will see their sensitivity as their strength, as their biggest strength. Their emotional capacity is the most beautiful thing about them. And you will want to protect that, you will want to nurture that, you will want to take care of them so that they can show up as their best self. Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why your guidance is here. All right, this was in response to the question, where is your future spouse right now? Got that correct this time. So right now they could be struggling with I'm hearing words like compassion and empathy, even though those are the things that they're good at. Right now, their relationships and the people in their world, they're making it really hard for them to tap into those qualities, even though they are their best qualities. Yeah. They're trying to get back to their heart. They're trying to have that fullness that they always have for other people. And that ties in with that exhausted energy as well. But they're so tired of carrying all the burdens all by themselves. Yeah. So they're allowing themselves to struggle right now. The Four of Swords and the King of Cups almost feels like a plea. It almost feels like they're letting you know through the 5D. Listen, I'm struggling right now, and I would love it if you could just send some love my way. Yeah. I want you to know that I'm struggling right now, because I know you will understand, and I know that if you were here in my world, then you would take care of me. Mm. Oh God, oh, I wish I could give your person a hug. Now, with the energy work and the Six of Cups, which is your guidance, it's almost like your task now is to mirror your future spouse's heart center, because that's the kind of unconditionally loving relationship the two of you are supposed to be in. You are supposed to mirror the empathy and compassion and kindness and this giving nature that your future spouse has. You're supposed to mirror that for them. It's not like you're not allowed to be imperfect. It's not like you're not allowed to make mistakes. It's not like you're not supposed to feel your own emotions or struggle with your own patterns and cycles and things like that. The Spirit wants you to cultivate your capacity for love, your capacity for unconditional love, for empathy, for compassion, for kindness, for being able to give, being able to take care of somebody. Yeah. They want you to cultivate your own nurturing side, because your future spouse and you, that's how the two of you will show up for each other as equals. There will be equal give and take within this relationship, especially since your person is, they're so hypersensitive, they're so empathic, they're so they tend to guilt trip themselves when they're not there for people. So if you're not able to comfort them, that you can take care of yourself, and that you would actually like to show up for your future spouse, take care of your future spouse instead, they'll probably spend the whole relationship just overdoing things, over carrying the burdens. Yeah. So one of the easiest ways for you to attract your future spouse would be to connect with your heart center, to cultivate your heart space, to strengthen your heart space, your ability to understand emotions, your own emotions and the emotions of those around you, and to choose compassion over and over again. Again, that's not to say that you're not allowed to have boundaries or you're supposed to let people drain you from now on. Absolutely not. But there's more potential for love here than you realize. Yeah, that's probably one of the things that your future spouse is going to show you as well. How loving you truly can be. I love that. Okay, in terms of time frames. Cancer season seems to be significant, and we are in Cancer season right now. And I also feel called towards the number 22 as an important date, which is crazy because that's the last day of Cancer season. Interesting. But the Six of Cups could also be the next 6 days, the next 6 weeks, the next 6 months. I also saw 58 earlier. 58 reduces to 13, which is Scorpio season / energy. Water signs in general could be significant. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio seasons / placements. The dates 22 to 28 as well. 18 as well. 13 as well. What's 4 about, Spirit? 4 of Swords. Something about a month from now could be important. What date is it today? 17. Yeah. I want to say 4 days from now, which would be 21. I don't know what this is about. Maybe something's happening within the next week. Maybe you're receiving communication from your future spouse within the next week. But that could very well be this video, this reading. So, yeah. 4, 6, 13, 18, 22, 28. Important dates or numbers or signs. Cancer season energy, water signs overall, and the next 6 days, weeks, months could be important. Yeah. The letters ACK as well. ACKS. Yeah. M or W as well. And W could also be referring to Wednesday. Yes. Is that it, Spirit? A could also be a reference to April or August. Is that it, Spirit? Is that it? I really want to emphasize on the dates 22 to 28. I'm not sure what's happening then, but something's going to happen. Okie dokie. Group 2. That was your reading. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next one. I'm tired. I have one more group to read for, one more collective to read for. I haven't had dinner. I could choose to pause the video, but I don't really want to do that. I want to finish recording and then have dinner. What was that? someone's shifting their furniture right now. I have no idea why. It's 9 p.m. for God's sake. La 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 la. So much energy. I feel I myself am tired, but group three's future spouse's energy feels energetic. Yes, 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 yes. La 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 la. See, now I feel chaotic. I'm thinking about everything that I've said as part of this video since the very beginning, and it feels so chaotic. Feels like the editing is going to be so much. Group 3, you fell drawn to this envelope or this letter. Let's do it. Let's read aloud your letter. After we're done reading your letter, we will also ask a couple of questions about your future spouse, including who are they, where are they, and then we'll get some guidance for you at the end. There is also a giveaway in this reading. I don't want to keep these letters to myself. I would love to send them to you. More specifically, 3 of you, 1 person for each group. And if you would like to participate in the giveaway, you just need to comment the group that you felt drawn to, as well as what kind of a partner or relationship you would like to have in life, what kind of a person or relationship you want to manifest, you are attracting, your dream partner or future spouse, essentially. It does not have to be overly personal, whatever you're comfortable sharing. I want the comment section to be an exercise in manifestation itself. And if you're lucky, I will mail these letters to you. Yeah. This letter, not all of them, just one of them. The group that you felt drawn to. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Let's start. Beautiful group 3. You can add your name there if you want to. Oh God, not even the gods can stop me from saying the truth aloud today. And the truth is, I love you. I have loved you since the first moment I laid eyes on you, and I know you don't believe in love at first sight, but I do. And my faith is big enough for the 2 of us. The distance between us can no longer keep us far away from each other, and even life can't tell if we're meant to be together. We choose, we decide, and I'm going to make you mine. I'm going to show up at your doorstep with an offer you can't refuse, and when you say yes, which you will, I'm going to pick you in my arms and take you away, far away from the world you're currently in, far away from the eyes of those who act like they're concerned about you, but you know they aren't. I will be your family, I will be your lover, and someday, if you're ready, we'll have a family of our own together. Love, your future spouse. I said this during group 1's reading as well. I'm so surprised I did not cry for any of these letters. While channeling any of these letters, I was just smiling so much. And there were so many emotions in my heart. Okay, for starters, your future spouse is writing this letter as if they know you already, but this does not have to be someone that you already know, especially if you have nobody in mind. It's possible that this is your future spouse's future self coming through and letting you know, like, this is what's going to happen when the 2 of us meet. This is the future of our connection, or this is how the connection will begin, especially since your future spouse has mentioned love at first sight. Yeah. The distance between us can no longer keep us far away from each other. I wonder if this is going to be a long distance relationship. And this particular this particular segment, I'm going to show up at your doorstep with an offer you can't refuse. This felt like a marriage proposal. Especially since they say, when you say yes, I'm going to pick you in my arms and take you away. That made me think of a honeymoon. It made me think of a wedding night. So I wonder if this connection will actually be quite quick moving. After the two of you meet, or you choose to date each other, be together, be in a relationship, I wouldn't be surprised if you get married soon after. Yeah. I will take you away far. I will take far away from the world you're currently in, far away from the eyes of those who act like they're concerned about you, but you know they aren't. This could be referring to certain toxic family dynamics or just the relationships in your world. Take it however it resonates. If it resonates, I will be your family, I will be your lover, and someday, if you're ready, we'll have a family of our own together. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. This is a very sturdy, stable, protective person. It's almost like they're saying, once we have each other, we won't need anyone else. Is that it, Spirit? I guess we move on to the cards now. This is probably the least amount of additional messages, of explanations that I've shared about the letter for any of the groups today. Let's see. The energy has gone so quiet all of a sudden. Like your future spouse has gone really quiet. What's this about? Anyway, we'll see. It's fine. Let's see. Who is group three's future spouse? You have Iris with wisdom. I just saw 1, 10, 11. So there's a mirroring number in there, 1, 10. And 10, 11 could also be a significant angel number for you. The months of October and November could be significant for you. Where is group three's future spouse? My greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. A lot of growth here. A lot of growth here. Finally, what guidance do you have for group 3? You have plan a vacation and burning bowl ritual. Let's get some tarot cards. Tell me more about Iris, please, Spirit. Who is group 3's future spouse? You have the Sun. Leo season / energy could be significant. I'm also thinking of how Iris can actually be someone's name, if that resonates, or Violet, or names based on colors of flowers could be significant. For where is your future spouse? You have the 10 of Cups. I just saw it, my happy place. Ah. And for your guidance, you have the 10 of Pentacles. Oh my god, what are these cards? Such amazing cards. You have 10-10 again. You have 10-10. So that's definitely an important angel number for you. And the month of October could be an important time frame. Okay. Let's see. You've received 3 of the happiest cards in the deck. 3 of the most stable, abundant, happiest cards in the deck. What's this about, Spirit? This person, your future spouse, is currently focused on becoming their higher self. They're currently focused on becoming the happiest version of themselves. I'm even hearing the word the proudest version of themselves. Someone that they feel proud of, that their family feels proud of. Although there is that energy of envy here, like there are family members or there are people in their life that feel jealous of them, that are quite insecure. Yeah. And they show up as kind and considerate. They act like they care for them a lot, but they have hidden harmful intentions. Yeah. Yeah, but I was saying, like, they're trying to become the version of themselves that they are proud of, and they want you to be proud of them too. I love that. With Iris and wisdom here, I want to look at the guidebook. It says poise, good judgment and clear thinking, research and experience. So someone could be actually in research, like the field of research, or communication as well. And the word poised makes me think of good posture, like they have good posture. And of course, good judgment and clear thinking. And also the color violet on this shade card, it says spirituality and mystery. I do feel like they have a really strong connection with their higher self and their intuition, their inner voice, their inner compass, their inner guidance, even if they don't consider themselves a spiritual person, but constantly receiving spiritual communication and they're constantly following the advice that their ancestors and spiritual team share with them. There's something nagging me here. I kind of feel like this person perceives themselves as a constant work in progress. And so even though they want to be happy, they want to be the happiest version of themselves, they struggle to actually feel that happiness because they constantly wonder if there's more to do. Not just wonder, they're sure that there's always more work to do. I do feel like you also have my greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. They take criticism really hard and they hate the idea of people judging them, of people making assumptions of them that they know are not true. I wonder if they sometimes go out of their own way to tell people, to show people the person that they actually are. Yeah, it's not like they're insecure, although they might value external validation quite a bit, but they're not insecure. They want to be perceived as a good person. And again, it's not just a ego based thing. It's not an ego thing. They want to be seen as good because they know deep down that they are good. And it hurts them. It hurts them when people don't see their inherent goodness, their inherent kindness. Yeah. See, even though you've received the sun, or more like your future spouse has received the sun and the Ten of Cups, which are two of the happiest cards in the deck, it just feels like they're rarely seen as happy. They're very present, they're very grounded in the current reality, they're very mindful as well. Something about their energy, it comes across as serious, as very touchy. Yeah, not sure what this is. It's almost like there's a gap between the person that they are and the person that they are perceived as. And you might find yourself falling into that trap as well. Like you might see them a certain way, but they are actually a very different person. They're actually very wise. They have good judgment. There's a very airy energy coming through here as well. Again, it's probably their sensitivity. I'm hearing hypersensitivity. It's almost like um, I'm feeling drawn to the kids on this card and how they're yelling at each other. Or even if they're just talking to each other, it kind of looks like they're in an argument. So something about the way that they express themselves, it makes them seem insecure. It makes them seem like they need a lot of external validation. They need a lot of um, external comfort. But they're stronger than that. They're sturdier than that. They're more stable. They're stabler within themselves than that. Yeah. I'm not sure what this is. But once you get to know this person, you'll realize that they're so much more charming and charismatic and magnetic than you realize than how you might see them at first. I'm even thinking of, I don't know how to explain it, but this shade of violet, it looks so dark to me. It is a dark color. And I wonder if that's how people perceive them, like too serious, you know, too dark. I'm thinking of myself right now. Whenever I get a face reading or something, people say things like you're too serious, you're not happy. I had this one face reader say to me that happiness can only be found within. And I remember saying to them that I look depressed, but I'm not. I had a friend who, when I was 19, she straight up, she just asked me, "You have depression, right?" And I remember thinking, I've struggled with depression in the past, and maybe that's why my face looks so serious. I've even had um, some followers say that I look serious, or they expected me to be very serious and very I don't know. It's the Capricorn rising in me and the Capricorn Venus in me. I probably look very um, like I don't know, like business oriented, or like business only, work only kind of a person. But that's not how I am. I do spend a lot of time working, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. It just feels like this person is seen as darker than they are. And when I say dark, I don't mean in terms of skin tone. I mean in terms of energy. They come across as very serious. They come across as too uptight, but they're not that way. They're actually a very fun-loving person. The sun is now giving me golden retriever energy or puppy love energy, and it's only when you get close to them. Maybe I wonder if they come across as intimidating, if they come across as too serious, if they come across as work slash business mode only. I don't think I'm using that term correctly. That's probably spiritual protection. That's their guides making sure that only the right people who have the courage to deal with this person, who have the courage to sit with their sensitivity, their depth, um, only they approach this person. Yeah, but you will just feel drawn to them, I think. This with the Ten of Pentacles here, there's also this energy of bickering, if that's the right word. Bickering, as in I'm thinking of Scorpio energy right now. Like you might poke each other a lot, you might argue a lot, you might have a frenemy of sorts at the beginning. Yeah, yeah. This could even be an enemies to lovers trope. Hmm. Very, 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 very interesting. It just feels like you see them. I'm thinking of a very specific couple right now. This is from the show Friends. This is when Rachel is pregnant, and when she comes back to work, there is a guy who's taken her position, and he actually feels really attracted to her. But they argue a lot at the beginning. They fight a lot at the beginning. Something of that is coming through. When you get closer to this person, you'll realize how much you love being around them. You're probably going to look for so many excuses to be around this person, to spend time with them, to meet them. You just want to secretly meet them. I wonder if the Ten of Pentacles means that you're going to meet each other in a public space, like surrounded by family, surrounded by friends, and you're just looking for ways to get closer to them. Such a nice energy. It's very flirty. It's very flirtatious, but at the same time, it's very pokey flirtatious. I don't like it. It's like you're going to get on their nerves on purpose, or vice versa. They want your attention, or you want their attention, and arguing with them is how you're going to make that happen. Yeah. But at the same time, I see you, um, I see you, I see somebody in the metro right now. I see them going back home, and throughout that train ride, they're just thinking about everything that the two of you said to each other. You're just replaying all of those moments inside your head. That's the effect that your future spouse has on you. Yeah. I'm just going to say it right away. Whatever first impression you have of your future spouse, just be prepared to be surprised. Because they're going to blow your mind in some way. That's what I'm hearing. And the two of you, I just realized even the Ten of Cups has an image of a family here, and the Sun card also. It talks about inner child. Did we talk about inner child energy for you? Did we? Did we? Did we? Was it for you? No, that was for group 2. But yeah, children. The Sun card can also talk about children. So maybe the two of you, you do have that message at the end. And someday, if you're ready, we'll have a family of our own together. Yeah. And I just saw 23, which reduces to 5, which talks about change. May could be significant, February, March could be significant, and of course, you have Leo season energy or Leo placements. And 10-10, so October, or the 10-10 portal. Yeah. Two of you are probably going to have a family together. And I wonder, it kind of feels like your person is going to change your entire outlook on life. So let's say you don't even want to get married, or you definitely don't want to have kids. But when you meet your future spouse, I just heard someone say, I really want to know what our kids are going to be like. So that's why you have kids. Of course, that does not have to be the only reason. But you will want to have a home, a family with them. You will want to experience that traditional stable life with this person. It almost feels like being married to this person, having a home with them, having a family with them, it's going to be the biggest source of happiness in your life. Yeah. Since you have burning bowl ritual and plan a vacation here, as well as the Ten of Pentacles, I wonder if you're a bit of a vagabond, if that's the right word. As in, you're very free spirited. You're very adventurous. You love traveling. You don't like the idea of being in a commitment. You've enjoyed casual hookups, and you would love for life to be that way. Yeah, and maybe when you meet this person, that's how you see them. Like, this is just another fling. It's just another person that I feel attracted to. But again, you come closer to them and you realize this is it. This is the one. This is the person that I didn't even know I was looking for. Yeah. So with Lana Vacation and Burning Bowl Ritual, it almost feels like Spirit is asking you to let go of the plan that you had in mind. Um, the plan to never settle down, the plan to constantly be on the move, the plan to just see people here and there every now and then, and to be free, to be wild, to be, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things. But when you meet your future spouse, he'll be like, I want to settle down. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have pets. I want a balcony garden, and I want to cook you breakfast every morning. Oh God, I love this so much. Yeah. Yeah. So be prepared to be mind blown. Be prepared to be shocked. Be prepared. I'm hearing the word frozen, and I saw a visual of somebody freezing up, because there's a moment of doubt or hesitation here. Like, can I do this? Can I actually have a long-term stable relationship in my life? Can I actually be married? Can I actually have kids? Yeah. So there might be a moment where you freeze or you run away from this person. Yeah, that's what the Sun and the Ten of Cups energy is. It's like you see your own happiness, you see how happy you can be with this person, and you just freeze. Your instant reaction is, it's too good to be true. I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think it's going to happen, and maybe I should give up before it hurts me. Yeah, before I raise my own hopes too high. Yeah. Yeah. Once you surrender to it, once you allow yourself to release the plan that you'd thought of at the beginning, and once you let this person in, yeah, I heard, I can't believe I was going to give up on this. When you choose this person, when you choose your future spouse, there will be no other life. The plan that you had in mind before, it will disappear, almost like it never existed. Yeah, you can be so happy together. I'm just going to leave the reading there. You have the numbers 35 and 39 here, which could be significant ages. You also have the number 7 here, so July could be important. You have 10, of course. You have 19 and 7. All of these could also be important dates. Something else about the Sun card. Of course, it refers to Leo season energy. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more about the sun. 19. What's 19 about? The Nine of Cups and the Eight of Wands. This is not for all of you. It could be for a good chunk of you. But it kind of feels like your future spouse is coming your way as we speak. Because Leo season starts on the 23rd. Today is the 17th. So in a week. Yeah. And you have the Nine of Cups and the Eight of Wands here. So August and September could be important. This might not be for everybody, but there is a possibility that your future spouse is coming your way within the next 8 days or weeks between August and September. Again, that's not for everybody. I just realized, oh my god, the sun is number 19 card, which reduces to 10. You have 10, 10, 10. So October is definitely important, or the date 10 is important, or the 10, 10 portal is important, or the next 10 days, weeks, maybe even months for somebody here. They're important. On the start of a new decade, that's pretty far away, but the years 2030, the year 2020 could have been important. Maybe ages like 30, 40 could be important. Yeah. Group 3. Group 3. That was everything. Thank you for being here. Remember the giveaway if you want to participate. And I'll see you in the next one. This was such a cool reading. I'm gonna go have dinner now. Labo ko, labo se milao. This was the channeled song for Group 2. I think this is the second time I'm mentioning Group 2 in your reading, so maybe you want to look at Group 2, I don't know. Maybe it will resonate. क्या हो तुम मुझे अब बताओ. छोड़ दो खुद को तुम